be achieving. So all these things were done on Scratch. I'm going to show you how you can do it. So we have this girl, her name is Mildred, and she's going to say a few things and make some calculations. I hope we'll have enough time to go all through. But maybe let me play this so that you'll see what we'll achieve at the end of the day. So when I click this arrow,
love playing soccer.
So this is Mildred saying she loves playing football, or she loves playing soccer.
I am in JSS1.
And she says she's in JSS1. Then here she is in the classroom.
My name is Mildred. I am 10 years old.
So you can see her counting in twos, 2, 4, 6, 8, up to 20. So we would also learn how to code this up. So all this is done in Scratch. This is the website version of Scratch. So if you want to start, you have to go to the website. So the website is scratch.mit.edu. So you go to your browser. So let me go to my browser. So if you see here, over here, you see that over here, you see I'm already signed in. So you can click here and then you type scratch.mit.edu and click enter. So this is what you have. I'm already signed in, so that's why you have this. But for you, you would have to create a new account. So if I click on create, you see it takes me here. So you then click on, rather, when you go on scratch.mit.edu, you click on create to start creating things. So these are the other things that other people have created in the past, and then you can click on them to look at them. So we'll click on create, and this gives you a blank canvas where you can create your stuff. So this is an example over here. When I click on
with
play,
Scratch, you can make your own
an
story,
introduction,
games, and animations. Let's start by grabbing a move block.
Yeah.
We can.
So that's that for the introduction. Now these are the blocks over here. The things you can use to give instructions, and then these are they are also the same things here being condensed. When I click on motion, it goes to the motion area. When I click on loops, it goes to the loops area. But first of all, in order to ensure that our things are saved, we have to click on join Scratch. That's for you. So when you are joining Scratch, the first thing you need to do is to put a username. So say my username, I want to use Millie as my username. I'll then create a password. So Millie is taken. I can say Millie123 is taken. 1, 2, 3, 3 not taken. Oh my, Mildred. Let me see. What about this? Okay, so that's good. Now I'll create a password. You should create a password that you can remember and maybe write it down somewhere. So let me create a password. So again, I'll enter the password again. And then I'll click on next. Then what country do you live in? So if you live in Nigeria, you would search and go down to Nigeria and then click on next. What year were you born? So maybe I was born in January. So you put the year of your birth in January 2008. Then next, what is your gender? Maybe I'm male. And then I'll click on next as well. What is your email? So you have to write your email. So if my email is this email, I'll put in my email and then create my account. So after putting your email, in order to continue, you just click on done. So you can see this has changed over here. It signs you up automatically, right? Now, but maybe we can use this. So this is what you have. Remember that what we want to do is to create an introduction of who we are. Now, this here is called a sprite. This object here is called a sprite. And we can always change our sprite to whatever we want. Then this white area is called the backdrop. So it's a stage, and then you can change your stage. This is your code area. This is where you code. And then these are your costumes. Maybe you want to change how the look of this thing is. If you want to add sounds, you can add sounds by clicking on this. So if we look at this one, we are going to be taking a cue from here and trying to do as ourselves. Now, let's go back to the new project we created over here. So I like to name my project. So let me name this my first project. Good. Now, I don't like this sprite. Remember, I'm talking about myself. So I would go here, down here, and choose a sprite. So I can search for a sprite. I can paint a sprite. I can use this to sort of create something that looks like a surprise, or I can upload a sprite. Maybe I have a photo of me that I would like to use. So I have this nice photo, I'll click on it, and then maybe this photo I want to use as myself. So if you have your own photo, you could upload it, but I'm not going to use this. And if I find a sprite I don't want to use, I'll come over here and delete, right? Now, so the sprite I want to use is a young girl. So I'll go here and search. So there are different categories you can search. You can search for animals only, for people, fantasy, dance, and so on. Music. So all these are sprites you can use in order to communicate the idea you want. And you can use them in very creative ways. So I want people. And you see, there are different images or different sprites here. And I want this sprite over here. So this is my sprite. Now you have to ensure that you are selecting the sprite if you want to do something on it, right? So if I want to change my sprite in a way, I could go to costume and decide to maybe remove this or change the glasses in some way. So it has a red color. I can decide to change it to a green, maybe. This looks like maybe a sort of green. You can change in different ways, but I'm not interested in that today. Now, I don't want this white background. I want a different background. It's called the backdrop. So I'll come here. I can choose a backdrop. I can paint one, create one myself. I can put a surprise backdrop, or I can upload. But this time around, I want to pick one from here. And under that, I want to choose patterns. And I'm talking about myself. I love myself. I'll use the heart backdrop. Good. So I think we are going somewhere. So maybe I want to change this costume a bit. This color looks so much like the hearts. Maybe I should give it a different color so that we'll have, yeah, so I think this is fine. Then let's make this maybe black. So, or a deeper color. Let's see, how does this one look? I think not bad. Cool. Yeah. So I think we are good. She looks a bit different from the background. Now, I want her to introduce herself, to say, my name is Mildred. Now, these are all the codes you could use to change. Now we have motion. Motion means we want the sprite to move. So when we put this and put an action, we are saying move this number of steps. We also have looks, how we want it to look like. We have sound, we want it to talk in a certain way. So for now, I just wanted to say my name is Mildred. So I'll bring this and change hello to my name is Mildred. And I want her to say this for 2 seconds. So, but when does she say it? We have to give a time, like at which she says it, or we have to prompt the action. So there are different prompts we have here. So we can say when the flag is clicked, that means I want this flag to be clicked, that if this flag is clicked, she should see what her name is. Or when some key is pressed, space, arrow up. So it depends on you when the sprite is clicked. So for now, let's say when this green flag is clicked, it should say my name is Mildred. So we are good to go. I'll come over here and click the flag and it says my name is Mildred. Can you see it over here? Anytime I click the flag, it says my name is Mildred. So if you are asked to introduce yourself, you wouldn't just say your name. You could say something about how old you are. So again, I want to include something more and I would say something else. So just like we did here, in fact, I can copy this by highlighting or right-clicking and then clicking on duplicate. So when I say duplicate, it makes a copy of it. So I now want it to say, I am 10 years old. But if I do this, so remember they are both on when the flag is clicked, and if I click the flag, it says it shows the last one. So because they are occurring at the same time, it just shows this one. So we then need to bring some control into it. Remember, we wanted to say my name is Mildred first before it goes on to say I am 10 years old. So everything I'm doing is exactly what you would do if you were a computer scientist and you are coding. This is the only difference here is that we are dragging and dropping. But when there are certain ways you say it when using high-level programming languages. So now, again, I want you to wait. So these are the controls. These controls help you to tell Scratch what to do first. So I want it to wait. Now I would always, your action or your event have to be at the top. Now, so I'll bring this under here and bring this here. Now, since I'm waiting for 2 seconds here, it means I could actually wait for 3 seconds here. So that after it says my name is Mildred, it's waiting for 3 seconds and then it will say I am 10 years old. So when I click this now, you see it says my name is Mildred, it waits and it says I am 10 years old. Very good. So I think we are making progress. Now, let's go back to what we want to do. Remember, this is what we want to do. We want to, I have arrows here.
I love playing soccer.
So she's saying that she likes playing soccer. And then
I am in JSS1.
I'm in JSS1. She was even standing in front of a school to say she's in JSS1.
My name is Mildred.
My name is Mildred.
I am 10 years old.
I am 10 years old. I can count in twos and begins to count in twos. So let's go back to where we are. Now, in the previous one I did, you'll find that there's some sound. Now, you can add sound over here by clicking on sounds. So you come down here. When you come down here, you could search for a sound. and you have a bunch of sounds you can pick. If you click here, it plays. So you have a bunch of things you can do. I go back, I don't want any of those. I want to say something. So if I want to say something, I can record. So I'll click on record. Remember, what do I want to say? I want to say my name is Mildred. So I'll click on this and say my name is Mildred. My name is Mildred. Then you stop when it's time for you to stop. So when I play this, okay, it's cut it. So it's streaming it by itself, but I can move this back and forth to the area I want it to be. My name is Mildred. Good. So if you don't get it right, you can click here and re-record again. So again, I'll click and record for the second time. My name is Mildred. Stop. And then play. My name is Mildred. Good. This is what I want. Then I'll click on save. Now I want to change this so that I could remember. I'll come over here and click on name and change it to my name. Maybe let me write my name. Good. Then we'll go to the coding area and click on this. Now, so we want it to, as it's saying my name is Mildred, we also want it to, at the same time, say play the sound, right? So we have sound, the sound section here, and then I'll say play sound. Remember, it is supposed to say it at the same time with this. If I put it here, it's going to execute this line first. That means it's going to say my name is, right, my name is Mildred before playing the sound. Let's see how it goes. See. My name is Mildred. So you see, it doesn't make sense. Now what we are going to do is that we are going to separate this and bring another event block and add it over here. So it means when I click on this flag, it's doing both things at the same time. So I can play this. My name is Mildred. Exactly. Now you see, my name is Mildred takes some time. So I can change this to 3 seconds and then also increase the time for this and ask it to wait for 4 seconds. So I can now play this and see. My name is Mildred. Good. I am 10 years old. Excellent. So the same way we recorded the name and said my name is Mildred, we can also record I am 10 years old as well. So just like before, I'll go to sounds, I'll click down here and I'll record. So what do I want to record now? I want to record my age to say I am 10 years old. So I'll click here. I am 10 years old. Stop and play to ensure that I got it right. I am 10 years old. Excellent. So I can save this. I want to change it and then I'll say my age. Good. Then I'll come back to my code. Now, just like we did before, we want a similar block. So I have go to sound, my age, and put it here. And then when the flag is clicked, what should it do? It should wait for 4 seconds, just like before. So in fact, I can copy this, but let me not copy. And then I'll ask it to wait. Remember, it's a control structure. And then I'll wait for 4 seconds. Just like, so it has to be the same way as this one, right? So I'm putting them together so that you see that they line side by side. So let me play this now. My name is Mildred. I am 10 years old. Okay, so that's good. But this one it's quite short. So let me make this 3 and play. My name is Mildred. I am 10 years old. Excellent. So we've gotten this. Now we want to add another backdrop. So if we want to add another backdrop, we'll go to backdrop. Now, this is what we are trying to do. So we have her saying what she's doing, another backdrop
I
when we
love
click here.
playing soccer.
I like playing soccer. Now, so we'll go ahead to add a soccer backdrop, and then I'll go to backdrop, and then I'll search for backdrop, and let's look for soccer. Can we see soccer? Yeah, I think this will do, and we'll click on it. So after clicking on this, so we have all our backdrops over here. So this is where I want to be. Now, I want to create a sprite that does a kind of control. So this is Mildred. So I want to include a sprite that moves from one backdrop to the other. And then I'll search for this arrow over here and bring it here. So this arrow will serve as my forward arrow, right? Good. So again, if I'm going forward, I'll need to go backward. I can again choose a sprite and search and still pick this arrow, but then I'll select it, make sure it's selected over here, and go to my costumes, and then I can flip. So when I flip, it means it's going the other way. So we can put this here, right? Now we'll go back to the code. So you have to be careful about what you are doing. When you click on this, it means you are coding or you are giving instructions to Mildred. When you click on this, it means you are giving instructions to this sprite, the right arrow sprite. And when you give instruction to this, you are giving, when you click on this, you are giving instruction to this back arrow sprite. So let's start with this. Remember that this sprite should move us forward, right? So while I'm clicking on it, I would say, now I want it to be that it is when the sprite is clicked that it should move to some other page. So I will then look for when the sprite is clicked. So I'll say switch to next backdrop. So over here, I'll say when sprite is clicked. So remember, what's the name of this backdrop? Let's go back to our backdrops. This first backdrop is called hats. This backdrop is called soccer. Okay, and these are blank backdrop, which we are not making use of and which we can delete. So this my hats, this my soccer. I'll come over here and select this, and I'll select this arrow. So we are working on this arrow, yes, the forward arrow. So when the sprite is clicked, remember that this means go forward. So what I want it to do is to go to the next backdrop, right? When the sprite is clicked, go to the next backdrop. So if I come over and click, you see it has switched to the next backdrop. The same thing for this other backdrop. I have to come over here and select it. And just like I did before, I'll say when backdrop is clicked, it should switch backdrop to, I don't want to be specific and say soccer. I want to say previous backdrop. So it means we have a forward and backward. So when I click this, it goes forward. When I click that, they go backward. And so you see, we can switch between backdrops. Cool. Now, coming over here, it's weird to see that Mildred is here and she's not doing anything. So can we include a sprite football such that when she's here, we'll know that, yes, she's playing football. So we'll go to sprite, choose a sprite, and look for soccer. So this is a soccer ball over here. And then I can bring it just down here. Now, When you click, you find out that the soccer ball is in each screen, is in each backdrop. How do I make this backdrop to be only on this soccer this soccer page? Now there is a show and hide option in Scratch now. So this is show, and then I would say when this when we are in this backdrop, that is in this soccer backdrop, it should show. But if we are in any other backdrop, it shouldn't show. So I'll go to this structure and I'll say when backdrop switches to hearts, I don't want it to show, I want it to hide. So I would go and look for hide, and hide is found here. I want it to hide, right? Again, when backdrop switches to, soccer, it should show. So now when I go here, you can see it's no more there. The ball is hidden. When I come here, the ball is there. Excellent. Now, again, we want her to say she can play soccer. So remember that we are giving instructions to her. So anytime you are giving instructions, you have to ensure that your cursor is on the character, is on the sprite. So remember to save your project as you work. Now I want to give her an instruction to say, I can play soccer. So again, I'll go to say, and then I'll click on say, and then I'll say, I can play soccer. But why do we want this instruction? We want this instruction to be when she is in this backdrop, that is when she's in the soccer backdrop. So I'll go to my events and I'll say when backdrop switches to what? Soccer. So let's see, let's go back. And then go here, you see she can play soccer. So just like before, I would like a little bit of wait when we are in. So maybe wait 1 second. Then I want her to also say it herself. Then I'll go to sound and then I'll speak. So I want to speak, I would put this and say, I can play soccer. And when I play, okay. When I play, I can play soccer. Excellent. So I can say, name this as soccer. Then I'll go to the code area. And then I'll go to say, and I'll say play sound. So after waiting, it should play sound soccer. But remember, just like before, we have to create another one so that we'll have two. I can play. We'll have them talking at the same time. So I'll duplicate this block and put it over here. Then rather than this sound, I'll delete I can play soccer and then put it here. I can play soccer, and you should say it for 3 seconds. Oh, so let's go back and play. My name is Mildred. Then go to the next. I am 10 years old. Go to the next. I can play soccer. Superb. Do you feel like you're a giant programmer? I tell you the truth that these are the little steps that we do. You see, all the games you see, the very things that are fancy, they are just these little steps. And if you start from creating these simple moves, before you know it, you're going to be a very, very good programmer. Cool. Now, Mildred wants to solve some mathematical problem. Maybe she wants to say it in the classroom, or if she likes, she could say it here. But let's create another backdrop. just like choose a backdrop and I'll search. Then I'll go to class. Do we have a classroom? No. Okay, let's look at space. No. Indoors. Yeah. Chalkboard. I think this can go. Cool. So I want to know the name of this, my backdrop. I would go here. It's called chalkboard. So we can leave it like that. Or if we like, we can change the name, but I'm going to leave it like that. If you want to change the name, you change it here. So all of these are what you can change. Now you see this ball is hiding over here again. So I have to click on it and then duplicate this one, highlight, duplicate it over here. So it should hide when it's also in the chalkboard. So let me go to you see it's no longer there. I can go back. I can play soccer. And it's just on this page. I can play soccer. Cool. So we are also having it say, I can play soccer over here. Let's go to the page where we have the character. So when backdrop switches to soccer, it should say, I can play soccer. Okay, yeah, it's right. I think I moved a little bit fast. That's why. Okay, now remember that we are trying to code up Mildred. And then let me move this nicely. And now what we want her to do, or what Mildred wants to do, is to count in twos. Cool. So we have some mathematical formulas over here that Mildred will be using. So we have what is called a variable. Now a variable is something that can take any value. So we can give it any value and it would take that value. Now we are going to be setting a variable. That means something that can hold anything for us so that we can use it to make it do whatever we want. Okay, so the first thing is make a variable. So I'll click on this, make a variable. Maybe I'll name my variable x, and say okay. So you can see here that my variable is x, and then I'll bring over here. As my variable is x, what do I want to do? I can remember that I'm trying to make it count to 20. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use a set my variable to 0. So it should start at 0. And what's my variable? My variable is x. So it should start at 0. And after it starts at 0, remember, if I want to count in twos, I have to add continually. So I'm going to go to this, my addition block here, and put my x over here and count to 2. So what it's going to do is that it's going to do it will add 2 to continually. But how do I count in twos? I have to do it repeatedly. So there's a repeat block that I can use. So this says repeat 10 times. So what this means is that I'm going to repeat the process of counting for 10 times, right? Now, remember that my variable is set to 0. Now, I need to change this. So again, I'll pick the variable set, which is here. And put it over here. Now, but what I want is that I want it to be x, and I want it to be set to x plus 2. Whatever x is, it should be set to x plus 2, and then it would add. Since I want to save this, I would use a when flag is clicked and then I'll put it here. But remember, we have a lot of things over here already. She's saying her name is Mildred for 3 seconds, 4 seconds, so that's 7 seconds in total. So I want a wait. So again, I'll go and look for my wait, and I want to wait for 9 seconds. That's all the previous ones will be said. Okay, so when I wait for 9 seconds, it's now going to, so for me to see what it's being said, I have to see a say block. So I have to use a say block. So I'll now say say over here. And when it's saying, it should say X, because X is my variable. So I'll come here and I'll pick my variable. I don't want it to say hello. I want it to say my variable. So let's start and see. My name is Mildred. I am 10 years old. Good. Excellent. So can you see it's counting 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on? So this is it also counting as well. Now, this is where we are, and I find this so beautiful. So let's go back from the beginning and see. I can play soccer. What we have, I can play soccer. So go to the next. Okay, this only happens when it is clicked. Now, maybe I don't want it to be when it is clicked. I want it to be when it is in this classroom page. So I can detach this, and then I'll change it to when backdrop is, when backdrop changes to classroom, chalkboard, and then I'll delete this. Cool. So let's go back. I can play soccer. Go back. Here it's only when it's my name is Mildred. I am 10 years old. Okay, and then I can play soccer. Okay, so we have to remove this wait since it's going to be when backdrop switches to chalkboard. So we'll remove this wait. Since we are saying it on a different page. So when you want to detach, you detach from the bottom. So I'll just delete this and put it here. I can play soccer. I can play soccer. So let's stop. I can play soccer. Okay, it's still counting from the previous. Okay. So let's play. My name is Mildred. Go to the next. I am 10 years old. Next. I can play soccer. Next. And we have our accounts over there. Cool. So I'm going to stop here. There are a lot of things that could be changed and that could be made better. So if you see them, or as you see them, I would also encourage you to change them. For example, your assignment will be removed to make this. If you see what we have, it's in every page. It's in soccer. I can play soccer. It's also in the beginning. So I'll like you to work on removing x equal to 20. So that's what we'll have for today. Thank you for joining. If you have any questions, you could type in your questions and then we'll reach out to you. So happy Children's Day to all of you. Thank you.